This is the cover of the book. It's Cosmo Conception. The author is Max Heindel, very impressive erudite. I don't really have the time to give you a framework to fit this into. We'll just take things out of context. So it's talking about Atlantis here compared to Christianity's origins, and how Christianity is an epic of using the article of wine. Wine did not exist prior to this many thousands of years ago. I'm going to read the paragraph. It says, "Hitherto only water has been used as a drink in the ceremonies of the temple service. But after the submergence of Atlantis, which is the continent which once existed between Europe and America, where the Atlantic Ocean now lies, those who escaped destruction began to cultivate the vine and make wine, as we find narrated in the biblical story of Noah. Noah symbolizes the remnant of the Atlantean epoch, which became the nucleus of the fifth race, therefore our progenitors." So let's try to understand what's being said here in this single paragraph. Okay, right there. What they're saying, what he's saying, Noah was one of the patriarchs in the Bible, as understood chronologically. Adam was earlier than Noah. You had Cain and Abel, and you had several other patriarchs, and you had Methuselah, who was the oldest. Not much is said about Methuselah, but several years more, if you take those years literally. And even if a year was the same length of time, we don't know. Then came Noah, who was actually Lot's cousin, if I remember correctly. Either that or Noah was his nephew. I'm sorry, they were contemporary. We know that for sure. And what's the relation? They're saying that Noah, I take as a literal individual. But also as a literal individual, they can still use that person to symbolize the entire age, to symbolize the type of people back then. So apparently Noah is an Atlantean survivor. And, that's shocking when you put this together for the first time. You see, wow, the ancient basis of the myth of the Judeo-Christian lore is a story about people that survived a flood, a deluge, and that was Atlantis. Atlantis existed, and then the land broke up because of different cataclysmic situations, earthquakes and hurricanes and flooding, storms, major, inundation of the elements, and because of their karma, because of something they had done, they reached the end of their existence, the end of the height of their civilization. It fell apart, and Noah was wise enough to escape because he saw it coming. Noah goes across the waters. He doesn't know which way he's going because they were not navigators per se, and he ends up somewhere, and he becomes a seed culture for a new age that comes out of it. And he has 3 sons, and then they spread around the earth again. And that's probably the origin of the Chinese empire and the Indus culture empire, as well as the African culture. And that was probably also going into another direction, into Europe. And it all came from Noah's little group. And this is just after Atlantis was destroyed. So, I mean, I could just say this so many times just to let it sink in. For me, even, like, I've been studying this stuff for years. This is the kind of stuff that they don't teach in the public schools. This is not mainstream history. This is not something that the Christians will be able to teach unless they're radical, supernatural, esoteric Christians. You know, this is not something that you can learn within any of the religions, with the exception of possibly some of the New Age group, the Essene orders, monastics that are not open to the public. So for you folks to get this one little paragraph and for me to try to expand upon it in this video, you don't get this anywhere else. So, you know, come back for more. This entire book is full of really intense paragraphs. So, oh, and just because I've had a request to do more on Thoth, I'm going to say more about that in the halls of Amenti. And this was a high priest who was living in Atlantis and escaped. Probably not the same as Noah. Almost definitely not the same as Noah, but a contemporary of Noah, and possibly they knew each other. Possibly they assisted each other. I don't think that Noah was of the same stature. I think that Noah is representative of just some people who were smart enough to know the civilization was crumbling and they needed to escape. Thoth is a totally different thing. Somebody on a very specific mission and somebody who knew how to survive. Okay, tune in next time.